The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is losing a record number of its membership.
If there are those who oppose any of the proposals, we ask that you contact your stake president.
For a good whipping. I think we're ready, even though I don't have much time, so we've got to get moving. No time for jokes, Dr. Jones. Or love. Travis Wayne Goodsell, Idaho Chick, if you're listening, it's begun. The Final Four. The Final Four, Idaho Chick. It's begun. The fall is here. The fall of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. When she first started, she was watching. She's been watching for a while. And when she first started to communicate, she was expressing how she was frustrated about how nothing is getting done. She wanted fruit. And yet she still hung around because I found the leak way back in 2020 about how the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is causing all of everybody's problems in the world. They ran a test run for Armageddon. They ran a test run for Armageddon. And I've done the videos, 10.3K over the 10 years. The church knows me. They know everybody. They stalk everyone to make sure all of us are in line. And if we're not in line, they try to destroy us and murder us. This is the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. It is blatantly obvious to everyone. So for Mormons who stay Mormon and who attack me, you know the church isn't true. You know that your spiritual witness feelings are all crap. And yet, you are consciously making a choice to stick in the sinking boat. The good ship Zion is sinking, and great shall be the sinking thereof. That is the prophecy of Joseph Smith in the Book of Mormon. So, November 1st, 1831. Brigham Young and Heber C. Kimball joined the church in April 1832. So this was written before Brigham Young and Heber C. Kimball joined. So any interpretation cannot include Brigham Young. Joseph didn't even have the quorum of the 12 apostles. That wouldn't be until 1835. The reason why I mention this is because of the passage we're about to read from section 1, the preface. So it starts off with, "Hearken, O ye people of my church." So this is the audience. And in verse 13. "And the arm of the Lord shall be revealed, and the day cometh that they who will not," whoops, I meant to do 13 and I still went to 14. "And the anger of the Lord is kindled, and his sword is bathed in heaven, and it shall fall upon the inhabitants of the earth." Yeah. See, there was several falling stars this year. They weren't over Utah. And I was like, oh no. You're missing the spot. Utah is the site for the prophecies. And then the Lyriads, and then most recently the Aquarids. All in Utah. Both in Utah. Hilarious. "And the arm of the Lord shall be revealed, and the day cometh that they," who is he talking to? Who's they? Mormons. "Hearken, O ye people of my church." Joseph is not speaking to people who will not listen to him. They is you. They who will not hear the voice of the Lord, neither the voice of his servants, neither give heed to the words of the prophets and apostles. He's referring to scriptures. Shall be cut off from among the people. This is what he refers to in his 1838 visions. The second vision, which, because the church chose not to leave me alone, Mormon employees chose not to leave me alone, I did the document video. And because I did a document video, I had reference materials in front of me. And because I had reference materials in front of me, I was able to give you a bombshell. Yeah, Stanford. Deep. Or heavy. Was it heavy? I think it was heavy. Willard Richards tampered with it in what we currently have. He added Jesus Christ in the name of Joseph's church. He changed Moroni to Nephi, and talking about the warning of Malachi, he changed the day come that shall burn as an oven to they that come shall burn them. He put in a confession that his Danites of Brigham Young, Heber C. Kimball, would cause Armageddon. And Oaks got leaked in 2020, from 2020. Just a test run. Just a test run. Which means now is not the test run. And so Joseph says, if you do not listen to your Christ, who's the Jewish version, not the Christian, in case you as a missionary forgot about verse 19. Obvious. And so your Christ is going to be a human, and he's going to be a Mormon. And the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints knows it, because the Church of Jesus Christ doesn't want you to know him. They're shutting him up. You're not looking for him. You're waiting for Jesus, who's never gonna show. The church is gonna murder you. You've been warned. You're not listening, and thus be cut off. This is the grave danger everybody is in. And I do need to get down and personal with you on this to discuss it. I hope we have enough time. For Mormons will stray from mine ordinances, and Mormons will break mine everlasting covenant of monogamy. Mormons seek not the Lord to establish his righteousness, but every Mormon walketh in their own way, after the image of their own personal Jesus, a false idol god, whose image is in the likeness of the world, whose substance is that of an idol. How did I know? Which waxeth old, and shall perish in Babylon. Even Babylon the Great which shall fall. Context. What is Babylon? See, Babylon has already been fallen. It's already been destroyed by the Persians. Joseph Smith is not talking about a future Babylon being restored. Just like he's not talking about the Jews in Jerusalem being restored with their new temple for the New Jerusalem. Article of Faith number 10, America is the New Jerusalem. Babylon is the great and abominable church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, founded by Brigham Young on the 6th of February, 1851. Yeah, they've lied to us. Shh, don't tell, Travis. Or we'll enforce the penalty oath on you. New name, Nephi. Yeah. It's the one who violates the temple. I saw that in the news yesterday, and I had to do the video. It was hilarious. Some of you know nothing about what I'm talking about in the video because you've not been following me, or you know nothing of the Jews or the abomination of desolation. Or Hanukkah for the theme song in the description below. Yep, you are way behind on your knowledge on Scripture. And that's also part of the danger. The church, as they are falling, are going to take down as many stupid Mormons that they made with them. They betrayed you, and they're going to destroy you on their way down to hell. Because they've created in you a false idol god, Jesus. And you should have been smart enough to say, wait a minute, verse 19 says Christianity is all wrong, all abominable, and all corrupt. So it's got some truth? Oh my hell. So, if you've been following me, you had heard me talk about 3 sets of 3 days of rain this year. And on the 3rd set of the 3rd day, there was lightning. That was my sealed portion video. I recorded the rain and the lightning. But church didn't fall, or so I thought. They keep secrets from us. Oaks fell. For a month he couldn't get up. And then they tell us. I see the same pattern with 2024 into 2025 when Nelson died. It shouldn't take that much time this time around for Oaks. fall is in progress right now. So, Wednesday the 13th, doing the video, document video that I warned you, and Mormons couldn't leave me alone, so I did it. And in the process of doing it, a storm destroyed Utah. 9,000 people were without power. And, as I found out last night, lightning struck Millard County. Pay attention, Mormons. Millard County, Utah, right down in the heartland. Translates to guardian of the mill, or mill keeper. Derives from the Old English occupational name millward, combining million, mill, and weird, guardian, keeper. Okay. So the mill, obviously, is broadly defined as a building, machine, or factory used to process raw materials, either by grinding them into smaller particles, like grain, into flour. Wheat, huh? So again, Joseph Smith, after Brigham Young and Heber C. Kimball joined the church in April 1832, they convert a record number of members. And they're naughty boys when they go out on their missions. Section 84 of the Doctrine and Covenants, Joseph Smith is pissed with them for lying about his church. It says the whole church is under condemnation because the missionaries are lying about his church, about him, about the Book of Mormon. So section 86, just a couple months after, in December 1832, they're not stopping their lies. They are an enemy in Joseph's church, converting people to the wrong church, which would eventually lead to the Kirtland apostasy in 1837. And Joseph Smith calls this as the parable of the wheat and the tares. Verily thus saith the Lord unto you, my servants, concerning the parable of the wheat and the tares. Behold, verily I say, the wheat was the world, and the apostles, this is 1832, still no quorum of the 12 apostles. They are elders. Were the sowers of the seed. Notice how apostles are sowers and not reapers. Reapers are the key of Moses for gathering. He is the one who is to be the mill keeper. He is the one who purges the wheat from the tares, the wheat from the chaff, to be ground. And oh no, it caught on fire because of lightning striking it down. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, being the mill keepers, destroyed their church, and it caught fire. This is the symbolism, Mormons. And in the video, another video I did, I put in the scripture. After my testimony comes the testimony of natural disasters. Thus, the storm, the lightning striking that I found out last night. Otherwise, I would have put it in the video. It's here, Mormons. The church is causing the problems, but at the same time, the scriptures are being fulfilled. So that those who have faith don't lose faith. The scriptures are true. The church is false. So there's no need for you to have a faith crisis. And after they have fallen asleep, the great persecutor of the church, the apostate, the whore, even Babylon. Anybody know who Lucifer is from Isaiah? He's a human, referred to as the king of Babylon. Verse 4. Joseph Smith knows what he's doing. You should study. He's pretty awesome. That maketh all nations to drink of her cup, in whose hearts the enemy, even Satan. There it is, the adversary. Right, Oaks? Love the adversary. Sitteth to reign. Behold, he soweth tares. Wherefore the tares choke the wheat and drive the church into Deseret. Behold, in the latter days, reaping, and that should be our theme song. I'd have no place to put it, so I've got to get another paper. The anonymous Mormon led me to KK's priest. Reap the whirlwind. So, that's that, this is this, that is that. So I've been showing you the signs in the heavens with Saturn, then the next day with Oaks for Mars, and then this morning it's now at the beginning of Aries, and then tomorrow it's at the end of Aries. And the 14th, yesterday, is 7 and 7. So in that video on the 13th, I put all of my dreams for the transfer of authority. 7 and 8. 7s and 8s. Referring to the Hinckley dream that started them off. In the Hinckley dream, I'm going to some kind of performance in the Ricks College auditorium. I apparently have 2 tickets for just me. And I'm about to go in when Gordon B. Hinckley, who is dead, and his wife, Marjorie, who is dead, comes up to me they're all dressed in their finery. And he tells me he has no tickets to go to the event and asks if he can have mine. And I just happen to have 2 for just me. And so I willingly give it to him. I was going to move on. To show his gratitude, he gave me the key card to his office. It's called a transfer of authority. That's next. With the number 77 in red. So, thank you. He goes in with Marjorie into the performance. I keep going down the hall to the elevators and go down the elevator for the fall of the church. And then at the bottom, we'll leave out the 2 lesbian women who were kissing in the elevator. They don't pertain to this part of it. Nonetheless, at the bottom, I get out, and it's the church's office building, the administration building, actually. And there's the security behind the bulletproof glass. And I go and say, I've got the key card to the office. So one of the guards gets out, and takes my card, goes over to the other bulletproof glass door, punches on the key card, some numbers to open it up, and lets me in, and says I got 5 minutes. So I go down the left side of the hallway and looking at the numbers, trying to find 77, and I'm going the wrong way. Oh no. So I went back down the right side. Now I have 5 seconds. And I come across room number 88. In room number 88, you need to know the Jewish calendar years to understand that it's 2020. But that was just a test run. So 2026, which is we had 5, 7, 8, 6, and now we're in 5, 7, 8, 7. And inside the room, I could see that there were papers all over the place, stacked up on the desks, on tables, shelves. And I wanted to go in and look at the documents. 5 seconds. So I kept going. Room number 77. Empty. No authority. And so, on the desk was a Post-it note. It was yellow, not the colors that I currently have. So I guess be you know what Post-it notes are, don't you? Don't have to go into an explanation of Post-it notes and waste time on that, do I? And had a pen, wrote thank you, and that was it. And then one of the lesbians met me at the picnic table that was all metal. Transfer of authority. 7s and 8s. The 7s are for authority. The 8s are for the information. That's all involved with the transfer of authority. Moses confronts Pharaoh, let my Mormons go. Pharaoh says, no, I want to hurt them. I want to steal from them. The fall happens with creeping death. Oh look, antivirus. They promise us it's not like COVID. We can trust our government. Why would they lie? Especially with Ronald McDonald K. Jr. for the Health and Human Services, who's trying to get rid of sugar and turned all our food white. What could possibly go wrong? There is a grave danger coming, those who are listening still. With the Iranian war, we now have a food crisis, a cost of living crisis, an economic crisis, a quality of life crisis, in which we're a first world country becoming a third world country. A crime crisis, an education crisis, a justice crisis. Our government is collapsing. We have a job crisis and a homeless crisis. And it's just going to get worse. 3rd Nephi chapter 7. Supposed to be for 2020. They turned it into a test run instead. I still parted the waters. Oh, haven't I been doing a pretty picture about me parting the waters this year too? Are you paying attention, Mormons? No. You're setting yourselves up for a massive faith crisis. The church has been keeping me silent and censoring me and cyber terrorizing me on purpose so that you won't hearken. And notice how they refuse to acknowledge Alyssa Grenfell for being the cause of the fall. Instead, they've highlighted John DeLynn last month to prop him up. Instead, they know John DeLynn is incapable of leading Mormons. He can get popular, sure, but John DeLynn is no leader, because being a leader of a civilization requires a lot of knowledge that John DeLynn doesn't have. He needs to know how to form a government. He needs to know how to form an economy. He needs to know how to keep the people prosperous and happy. And he's struggling himself. So no, he does not know. Do I? I've told you about 8th grade social studies. All the teachers kept quitting. I'm brand new in Corona. Just moved there. And so I don't know the peers. I'm just getting to know everybody. I'm in social studies class. And so after teacher after teacher after teacher quits, we then get a man transferred in. And he comes in, puts us all on detention. I'm best. In 5th grade, Fiskin gave me an F, and that's why I'm a visionary man. Because there's no way in hell I'm memorizing just to get an F. I'm like, Idaho report. God. And so, I'm like, what the hell? What the hell is this school thing for anyway? I get F's for being smart. And now I get detention for being good. God, school sucks. And so as the class went out, he tried to stick to the textbook to teach us. And at the end of class, he says, okay, you guys really don't have detention. He has to write it out on a slip anyway for us. So, but all through class, I wasn't listening to anything he said because now I'm thinking, oh crap, how am I going to explain this to Mom? I'm going to end up going into detention and in some trailer at the school, which was for the remedial kids and also for detention after school. And I was going to get to find out, and I was going to be a rebel, probably join a gang. So yes, I was not listening to the class. The next day, he then throws away the textbook and does something different for us. He tells us that he thinks that we're so smart that we know how to do everything, and so fine, make your own kingdom. Awesome! Best class ever. I got totally involved into it. Get to design the geographical location and the topography and the government, naming the religion. And yeah, it's not quite Mormon. In primary, I'm making adjustments to the words of the hymns. I knew as a kid, I'm getting pissed off. I'm having to give away my money to tithing. I was told, because they read Malachi to us, that it's for the poor, storehouses, for the poor. And then I find out it's not for the poor, it's for Jesus' free atonement. So as a kid, I know that ain't right. I could be using that money to go to the 7-Eleven on the corner going home to purchase candy cigarettes. Since the Asteroids arcade game had too long of a line all the time. And here Jesus was trying to steal my money as a kid. Stealing candy from kids. Jesus! Join today! Yeah. I'm aware the church ain't true as a kid. They exploit that to say, well, you just don't know, you got to keep studying. But then you punish us for studying. So, yeah, that was awesome. Got to design my flag and all kinds of stuff. And so then I would go on to try to create a game, a board game. And, yeah. After that vision dream with Hinckley. Oh, that's the final piece I needed to figure it out. The Civilization 3 Complete, the PC game, was a major boost in helping me figure it out, but I still couldn't get it into a board game form until after. Just a whole bunch of paper information flooded my mind after that. Thank you, Easy, for the paper. And then in my indefinite incarceration for filing a petition for a redress of grievances in the state of Utah, the First Amendment stuff, that's when I got the other papers on how to build a civilization. Zion. And then I would find out later that it was all in accordance with Scripture, because I'm a visionary man thanks to Fiskin in 5th grade. And even the design. And I didn't find out about Joseph Smith's design until I found 19 July 1840. Oh, look at that. Joseph and I have the same idea for Zion. Amazing. So, the fall has happened. The transfer of authority is next. So I have no clue how it's going to happen. But the church is selling off. They're closing shop. And this has to do with the Articles of Incorporation. Brigham Young, like I said in the beginning, incorporated the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. But I thought they're a true successor from Joseph, who named his church that. Why would he then have to incorporate it? Why would he lie? Well, if he's a liar, guess what it means, Mormons? Dum 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 dum. For the state of Deseret, this is a government document because the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints was disincorporated and ceased to exist on the face of the earth and has never been restored. Never been restored. It was Heber J. Grant who, in 26th day of November 1923, filed Articles of Incorporation for a non-existent entity. A shell company. So that Mormons who still believe, because they didn't tell, that the church is still in existence and true, are now removed as members under Joseph Smith to only be members of Costco or Amazon, where you have to pay monthly for a membership. But it's not a, if you want to stop and not be a customer anymore, you must pay. And you're threatened to pay, or penalties are ensued. And so Mormons have no authority anymore. Mormons must pay to this shell corporation because they're gonna burn the world. And then he added in 1840, 19th or 13th of June, let's see the text information on that. It's just down at the bottom, so it's looking like the 13th day of June. This is where the president of the Quorum of the 12 will always be the president of the church. However, Harold B. Lee added some more. On the 19th day of November 1973, ooh, the Mormon Christ is born. They're trying to murder him as a baby. All children 2 years and under. Whew, he's 3 years old. He barely escaped. He adds something very curious. Upon the winding up and dissolution of this corporation. You mean what the United States government did to Brigham Young's under John Taylor? That winding up and dissolution? Yeah, this is very interesting. And so they talk about transferring authority. The remaining assets will be distributed to. He lists a whole bunch of things. This is the transfer of authority. He's talking about upon the fall of the corporation, we're going to transfer authority. Isn't this fun? Documents. Alrighty. So pay attention to the news, guys. You're not following me, are you? Not following me. So then there's Nelson, changed it to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Sorry, fruit of the poison tree. Jesus is offended with nicknames. Offended. And so, last night, I found out that there have been 5 additional stakes shut down this year. After the one on March 3rd, I did the video talking about the fall of the church, apostasy of Mormons in Utah. And so the church thinks that they aren't falling. They're lying to us for conference, telling us that we had a record number of membership growth. But everybody knew it was in third world countries where the church exploits people, and it's not expected that there will be very high, that there won't be a high retention at all. It'll be very low, just like every other third world country where we've baptized thousands of millions. Bye-bye, all gone, because the church doesn't support its membership. The church forces members to support themselves and pull themselves up by their own bootstraps. So people say, bleep you. I was doing this on my own. I don't need a church to be poor. And be poorer by being Mormon because you have to give tithing to the church. Yeah, it's a big con. They're playing with us, deceiving us. But the church has fallen. So, in 2023, 1st December 2023, First Presidency announces uniform worldwide standards for ward and stake boundaries. Oh wow, the church is growing so fast that we're going to have 2,000 per stake rather than 3,000. We're going to have so many more wards and stakes. This is going to be awesome. Church is so true. Wrong. Wrong. Wrong, wrong, wrong. We are now finding out that the church is experiencing another apostasy of Mormons at the core headquarters state. There is a massive apostasy going on. And so we can see from the stakes that are opening and the stakes that are closing, the wards that are opening, the wards that are closing, where the growth is and where the apostasy is. So the stakes that opened, Democratic Republic of Congo, where the Mormons were involved in a coup. There was a stake opened up in Hurricane, but then we're back to the Democratic Republic of Congo. And then Virginia, for Spanish. Aren't they illegal? Shelby, Idaho. All back. I believe that was when Gilbert was put in, wasn't it? Or actually, that was the ward, wasn't it? That was the ward. Yeah, that would have been under the wards. Yeah, a special black ward. When Gilbert was exalted. Another white guy in the apostleship, but here's a black ward. We're not racist. No. Zimbabwe, Ecuador, Nigeria. You seeing where the Mormons are getting converted? Queen Creek, Arizona, Lehi, Utah, Madagascar, Democratic Republic of Congo. Yeah, the church had to do major damage control with that coup attempt. We got an MTC also put out there. Dear God. Kananto Benin Akapaka. I should go running here. I need to go running. So we'll just skip over this. And then there's some others. But the stakes closed. We first reported Salt Lake Granite Park, South Salt Lake, Murray, Utah, Little Cottonwood, Murray, Utah, Parkway, Taylorsville, Utah North is the new one from the 25th of March. Also on the 25th of March, Price, Utah, young single adult. 26th of March, Wellington. 26th of March, Price, Utah, North. 6th of May, Sandy, Utah. Falling, it's falling. And so stakes reorganized from districts. Mexico, Brazil, Santa Rosa, Honduras, Argentina, Zambia. Districts closed. Cuba. Yeah, they ran out of oil from Russia. Democratic Republic of Congo. Kimbangi, Bonnie, Nigeria, Kenya, Mozambique. Democratic Republic of Congo. Sao Brazil, Argentina, our district's closed. And so wards opened. Philippines, Spain, couple in Idaho. One of those is the black ward. Uganda, South Africa, South Dakota, a couple in Democratic Republic of Congo, Zimbabwe. There's the one in Hurricane. There's the other one in Hurricane. Wasn't there a crime committed in Hurricane not too long ago? Philippines, Peru this past week. Philippines, Salem, Utah. Is that where they were burning the witches? Palm City, Florida. One in Arizona. A couple in Orem. Democratic Republic of Congo. Pennsylvania. Congo. Texas, Lehigh. Roy City. Blah, 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 blah. Nigeria. Brazil. Canada. Congo. Dear God. Yeah. Congo. That's where we got the record-breaking numbers. Wards closed. Utah, Honduras, Brazil, Ohio, Utah, Japan, Utah, Arizona, California, Utah, Florida, Utah, Washington, Utah, Maryland, California, Nevada, Arizona, Brazil, Utah, Arizona, Utah, Peru, Ecuador, Utah, Brazil, California, Utah, Colorado, Mexico, Utah, Brazil, Oregon, Utah, Canada, Utah, Brazil, Massachusetts, Brazil, Utah, Nevada, Texas, Utah, Texas, Germany, Utah, California, Washington, Brazil, Virginia, UK, Colorado, Arizona, Ecuador, Arizona, Colombia, Utah, Texas, Utah, Australia, California, Utah, Washington, Utah, Idaho. Seeing a pattern? I am. So when we get back, we need to discuss this. So, with the fall of the church, with the cancellation of buildings, closing them down, and I remember doing those videos. Church is closed. Church is closed. It fell. No longer. It's open. It's no longer open. This was after 2023, December 1st, when they came out with a statement saying we are lowering the number required for a maximum of stakes to 2,000. This is 3 years later, and they're closing down now 10 stakes here in Utah. Only in Utah. And then a whole ton of wards gone. And as these wards are going, so too will more stakes fall in the coming days until Armageddon. The fall of America, the Civil War, the World War II, 3. Civil War II, World War III. It's coming. The list of crises that we're experiencing, yeah, that's what this means. America is falling. Trump is purposely doing this to destroy America. What a shocking surprise. We never saw this coming. Dear God. And I prophesied about it, knowing on that fateful day, 4th November, 2016. think it was a Friday before the election on the Tuesday, when Fox 13 News Utah, at the end of their morning news, told me that there was a coming total solar eclipse on the 21st of August 2017. I had been preparing my whole life for this moment, and they just announced it. So my whole theme for these 10 years and 10.3K videos, with the occasional sealed portion along the way, changed to give you guys the warning of this time right now. Nobody else but me. Nobody else. And so, yes, the church wasn't trying to increase the number of buildings. They weren't trying to increase the number of wards by lowering the number. They were falling, and they were trying to maintain the appearance of growth. And so now it's getting exposed as they can't maintain the buildings anymore. They're having to shut them down and close them. They're closed. So pay attention to that when we get to that discussion. And so it's not John DeLynn that's causing it. The church, by suing when they sued, which was during April, after conference, when none of the stakes were shut down. They skipped the month of April and resumed in May, as I went over. And we'll probably make it the thumbnail picture with Oaks saying he fell also. Just awesome. Which could also explain why nothing was decided upon in April as well. Because he has to give the decision with the first presidency, and if he's down for the count because he fell and had a bionic hip put in, there's just these moments in my video history that are classic gems. So what does your bionic hip do? What special powers do you have? That would also explain why there was no cancellations in April. Because Oaks has to be there for the full quorum to decide which gets canceled, which gets approved for cancellation. 1 month, you bastard. You know, you'd think that you care for the members to let them know when your leadership get hurt or go to the hospital or die, you know, like Elder Bassett. He died, but you waited until he's dead to report it. You didn't talk about how he was out golfing and got hit by a golf ball that put him in a coma over the weekend, for which they pulled the plug on Monday. This church just covers up and hides and deceives and doesn't want to tell the truth. They're so paranoid about losing their authority, and it's gone, guys. I hate to tell you this. You'll need to inform Oaks, and it's too late for this week, that their authority is gone. Nobody trusts them anymore. This is evidence. Mormons leaving the church is evidence they don't believe you anymore. They're out. The headquarters. And this is what I told you was coming all these years. How did I know? So, John Dehlin not just can't be a leader, he doesn't know how, but the church, by suing him in April, is putting all attention on John Dehlin now and taking it away from Alyssa Grenfell, as they hope. But Alyssa, despite being more popular than John, came out with her video on John Dehlin getting sued by the church by admitting that she got all of her misinformation from John's misinformation. And John's misinformation came from a Christian who sucks at church history research. Dear God, John. And so it's the false dichotomous division that the church has purposely caused. The Brigham Young trap, in which the church insists that their lies are true, and everybody has to believe their lies and spread the lies around the world, giving Book of Mormons and lying about it to leaders of government and religion around the world, treating them as stupid. And so, yes, this is also a sad commentary of third world countries that join the church and believe the lies. Because in third world countries, there's a higher illiteracy rate. They're not as well educated. And this is where the church is preying upon the weakness of the people in third world countries, giving them a false hope so that the church can steal money and claim them as their numbers. So the church has fallen, and the church instead are padding their numbers. They're still trying to maintain the lie. But Alyssa also doesn't know how to lead a civilization. She doesn't know how to run a government. She doesn't know how to run an economy. She doesn't know how to build a civilization. You know, she can play Sims all she wants. I haven't. I'm Civilization 3 complete. And my pyramid game. But I put all those on hold ever since 4th of November 1916. 2016. God. And so, yeah, this is what I was born for. I'm the guy, and the church knows it. And the church has been censoring me because I'm the guy. They're falling. They're winding down to be dissolved. And instead of coming out and confessing, calling it quits, they're still racking up the tithing, racking up other forms of money through illegal gambling and illegal investments, trying to get as much money as they can before it's finally over. And this is a grave danger that nobody wants to see and recognize. The church is betraying everybody, even the faithful Mormons who hate me and want to hurt me. Mormons won't know who to follow. And I've talked about this several times over the years, that when the fall happens, the Book of Mormon gives us a number of scenarios of what the people do. And they're lost, and they're in a fallen state. They've lost their faith, they're in a faith crisis, they're surviving for their lives, they lose knowledge and intelligence, they become primitive because of it, they don't have the technologies anymore. And as a result, the Book of Mormon tells you that Christ figures, because it's not literal history, are the ones you need to hearken to. You need to hearken to the prophets who tell you about the Christ who's supposed to be the one to save you. And you're not listening. You can't hear me. See, John, he's getting priestcraft because the church, by suing him, he's getting attention. And as reported, he's getting a lot of donations. People are giving of their substance to John to protect him against the church. His lawsuit response should be today. And the lawyers will reveal the quality that they are. Whether they're going to milk John for all his money until he doesn't have any more, and then, oh, sorry, you lost. Your business is ruined. Or if they're going to be good quality and actually help their client and put an end to this immediately today. And then the church will have time to respond for another month to drag it out as long as possible until the church has to say, we call it quits, or we withdraw the lawsuit, depending on the United States and its condition as to whether it's going to fall or not. They timed this perfectly for April on purpose. Know that. And so they're hoping for the fall of the church with the fall of Mormons, so that Mormons will not get Zion. The reason for that is that Mormons will then blame the world for destroying the church in Utah along with it, and thus apostates, and thus John. And then there will be the war between the anti-Mormons and the Mormons from 1 Nephi chapter 22 with the fall of the church. Mormons are going to use this as cause to murder John DeLynn and the anti-Mormons. Which is strange that they wouldn't use me as the target for this hate. Instead, they're going after John. They're not going after Alyssa because she's female. Sorry, Alyssa, you know damn well the church is sexist. Alyssa is responsible for this fall. And so the church is purposely, if they're going down, they're taking everybody down with them. That type of attitude. And so that there will be a war. But with the exodus from the church, it's not an exodus. With the leaving of the church, the fall of the church, I said exodus and that threw me off. I hope I can remember it. It's not coming to me right now. And so let me see if I can repeat it to see if I can bring it back. The church is diverting to John, not Alyssa, to blame John for the fall of the church and thus cause a war, when John is not telling the truth about church history. He's a doubt promoter rather than a faith promoter. John doesn't do his research. He has some Christian talking about church history and ruining it. The guy doesn't know how to do church history. The church's 200-year-old plot that I did the document video of is evidence. Nobody knows the church history but me. It was blatantly obvious. All these latter days under Nelson, he was trashing the church to force Mormons to choose to be loyal to the church when it's obviously not true. And anybody intelligent would know it. Canceling things in the church, shutting things down, changing doctrines, getting manuals changed, except for the atonement about Gethsemane. Massive changes, changing to polygamy and the law of chastity. Nobody did it. Everybody's disobeying, even the faithful Mormons. They're waiting to be compelled to be told directly, despite Nelson telling Mormons, keep the covenant path. What do you think that meant? Obey the new law of chastity, polygamy, child brides, down to 11 years old. You're not obeying. And you're punishing me for it? This is the evil of this church, to lead you astray and destroy this church, to purge out the wicked, which is also what this is about. They have convincingly purged the wicked from the church to trigger this war. So, I didn't get it, but I got some other stuff in there for you instead. Section 103, 15 to 18. Behold, I say unto you, the redemption of Zion must needs come by power. Therefore I will raise up unto my people. Any confusion about that? A man who shall lead them like as Moses led the children of Israel. I keep telling you to run the scripture test on me. You're not doing it to the living prophets of Jesus, and so you're not doing it for me either. I'm him. I'm here. See, with Joseph Smith, and then Daddy technically putting Joseph Smith in 2 Nephi chapter 3, yeah, it's easy to say, well, I was just Joseph putting it in there. But not even the church leaders, even though they knew of it correctly and lied to you about it, believed that prophecy actually can happen. They deny the gifts and powers of seer, prophet, revelator, and translator, which they don't even claim the title of. That was your big clue this whole time. And so they don't believe in a Mormon coming to save Mormons. For Mormons are the children of Israel and the seed of Abraham, and must needs be led out of bondage. Babylon, the great and abominable church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, Brigham Young, who are cooing America and the world. Mormons don't see this. You know, I could say the one mighty and strong. You go, oh yeah, okay. But nobody believes it. They know of a Mormon. but they don't actually believe it. They don't know who to look for. Just like the Jews, they know about Messiah ben David as a human, but they don't know who to look for because of Christianity destroying their scriptures. They know he's a human. They know Jesus isn't the guy. He failed. But they don't know who to look for. They don't know that Joseph Smith was Elijah, preparing the way for me. They don't know. So, to set and order the house of God. This is why I did the Burley Temple. This is why I did the Syracuse Temple. This is why Thule. And again, lightning struck Thule. Caused a fire. Just like in Millard County. Are you not getting this, guys? The Burley Temple. The one mighty and strong temple. And then 3 sets, 3 days of rain. Elijah versus the priests of Baal. To the extreme. Because Nelson, yeah, on 9th Ave and then 9/11. 3 rains for the one day. And then Nelson falls. 3 weeks later, they tell us. And so here, who parted the waters again? Me! This is how it works. But you're looking for something supernatural. You're waiting for Jesus, who doesn't exist. This is the blindness the church has done to you on purpose, so that you won't recognize me when I'm here, and that you reject me, so that you will have no leadership when all things hit the fan. And they're hitting the fan. It's been turned on and it's on high. And so I know how to set and order the temple at Zion. We need to get to Zion. This is what I kept emphasizing repeatedly, urgently this year. We must get to Zion soon. It takes time for the fall, as you can see. It takes time for the transfer. Now, in my mind, I can see a formal transfer of the church calling it quits officially, and then getting the lawyers to draw up papers to transfer that way. But the fall didn't happen as I thought it would. I mean, yeah, I could see it happening with that scenario, but when I talk about the church is going to fall, I don't know the fruit yet. I just have the seed that I've been warning you about, and now the fruit is here. I'm a true prophet. Run the test. Mormons won't do it. And so you're going to get a whole bunch of people who are going to go their own way or follow one person or another who has no authority, who has no idea how to build a civilization to save mankind from extermination. This is what the church is doing. This is what they meant the whole time. If we can't get our kingdom back, nobody will. This is why Oakes told you, I'm sending you back to the Stone Ages. And then Trump comes out and says, I'm sending Iran back to the Stone Ages. What? What? Yep. The church is his puppet master. Whatever her name is, doesn't know the 100th portion of it. So, section 85. This is about the Exodus, guys. The transfer of authority. And here in verse 8 is the fall of the church by the one who's the head of the church. While that man who was called of God and appointed, putteth forth his hand to steady the ark of the covenant in the Holy of Holies. Yeah, Jasmine, you missed this part. Shall fall by the shaft of death, like a tree that is smitten by the vivid shaft of lightning. Hello? Prophecy fulfilled. Oaks Falls and Millard County went up in flames by lightning. Lightning is a symbol of Jupiter. Jupiter is the man-child of Revelation chapter 12, which the Joseph Smith translation tells you he's your Christ, the Mormon. Me, the one mighty and strong. That's why I talk about the temples the way I do. They don't have authority. And they're blatantly saying, see, Travis, we're touching the Ark of the Covenant. I'm not struck by lightning. And then, oops, Nelson falls. Then, oops, Oaks falls. And they're too ashamed to come out and tell the membership because of me. They know who I am, and I've proven it to them repeatedly. And they still are in denial. They're still trying to divert away from me to other people to draw your attention away from me. Because if Mormons knew of me, there would be those who would be saved in Zion. And so this lot of inheritances of the saints whose names are found and the names of their fathers and of their children enrolled in the book of the law of God is to get into Zion. And I've gone over with you this detailed process. Because at first, the transfer would involve not just the financing of the church, so that I could transport Mormons to Zion, but also the membership records. With all of these stakes and wards being canceled, they still know the members. Even those of you who've put in saying, I want my name removed, they still have your record. They're not getting rid of it. And that's a good thing to save your lives if you choose to come to Zion. And so even though all these stakes and wards are gone, the church still has the updated contact information for the stake presidents and thus the bishops. And that's what I will be doing to contact the world. But yeah, we're jumping the gun. I know how it would be done perfectly, but we're dealing with a evil who doesn't want to cooperate, who were so evil that they didn't want me to be known as being right, that they changed their whole timeline of events to move them forward because they were supposed to happen in 2020. That's how paranoid they are to not let you know who I am. And it worked, hasn't it? And so there's the word cut off again in verse 11. This book of the law will be created by those who choose to come to Zion. And those who choose are the wise virgins. The foolish virgins are the ones who will be cut off from Zion. You are not allowed in if you're going to remain wicked. And you're not going to want to come to Zion if you're wicked. This is what the church has done to Mormons. They don't know about me. They don't trust me. They're not running the test on me to find out if I'm true or false. They didn't do it for the living prophets of Jesus, who made it blatantly obvious they're false. And so they're not going to want to come to Zion. But there will be those, just like in the Kirtland apostasy, who will want to check it out, want to find out. Well, okay, the church is destroyed. What's this? Who's this guy? And they won't know specifically, depending on how it will happen. My way, the perfect way, you won't know me. People will never know me until one day it finally clicks in your brain. Hey, wait a minute. He's the guy in charge of all this. I'm out. I'm going back. I'd rather be a pillar of salt. And yeah, you know what that means, right? Sodom and Gomorrah. The wife refuses to save herself and go to Zion, and turns back and is destroyed with the city. With falling stars and fire from heaven. Exactly. The 10 virgins. And so when destruction happens, sorry, you're not in the book. You chose not to come. And you're still indicating that you don't want to live the one law of Zion. Love, giving, and receiving agency. You're still wanting to be judgy and control other people's lives. You're not coming in. You only want to come in because you don't want to die. And that ain't an excuse. Wickedness cannot come into Zion because it will destroy it. Wicked doesn't understand this, despite the repeated throughout all world history of how this happens. I know how to build a civilization. I know about world histories and civilizations and why they fell. That's my turf. So, when it happens, to then begin to start making the book of the law, because this is going to take time. We need to do this quickly. Ideally, it would be great if it could happen today. that the lawsuit gets submitted and the church goes, oh crap. We need a way out. Here I am, guys. Strengthening Church Members Committee. Here I am, and I think this is what I forgot. I'm the church's way out. They bailed on the Boy Scouts. They bailed on lots of other projects and things. Here I am. It's in the scriptures. It's in your own articles of incorporation. Here I am. Transfer it to me, and the lawsuit goes away. Other lawsuits go away. Call it quits. No, you can't keep the money. That doesn't belong to you. You're gonna need to flee the state because people are gonna be pissed with you. You've already got hordes of your own, not just the hordes for the church. But this is how you redeem yourselves, sort of. Transferring to me. Everything, all the documents, all the finances, even that offshore bank account stuff. Do not withhold any of it. I need to get Mormons to Zion and build it. And, maybe they're going to be stubborn and go down in flames. So that all the money goes nowhere. It's just gone. And the economy collapses and America collapses. Which also is another interesting thing that the church should have made the connection with. I prophesied, even back in 2008, of certain calamities coming. They all happened. And they don't want to catch on yet. 2023, when the church fell. Yeah, why? Because of what you did to me in 2022. You still don't get it, do you? I still don't get it. Section 103, November 3rd, 1831. Joseph Smith is premature here. He's talking about the future. Section 103. Hearken, O ye people of my church, saith the Lord your God, and hear the word of the Lord concerning you. This is the letter I will be sending out to all the stake presidents to notify the bishops, to have interviews for those who choose and are prepared to come to Zion, to make the book of the law. The interviews will not be worthiness interviews, and thus those who have left the church need to be given the opportunity to know about this and choose to come or not. John DeLynn, he's not coming. He may try to if he finds out about it, and everybody's doing it. But he has made his choice not to acknowledge me. So why are you coming to Zion then, if you don't believe? Where's your reserve oil? I see the statue, but it has no reserve oil. just being so clever. Wicked think they're smart, right, Dark Helmet? 200 years and they failed. And never expected me, and so they panicked and pushed it up. Bastards. This is the call out to come to Zion. And we are again repeating it here for you now. The Lord who shall suddenly come to his temple, Zion. The Lord who shall suddenly come down upon the world with a curse to judgment. Yeah, mission accomplished. Yea, upon all the nations that forget the pre-Babylonian captivity, Jewish, Egyptian, Christ, and upon all the ungodly among you. For he shall make bare his holy arm in the eyes of all the nations. Yeah. An exodus of Mormons to Zion? That will make the news. And all the ends of the earth shall see the salvation of their God. Wherefore prepare ye, O my people. Sanctify yourselves, gather ye together, O ye people of my church, upon the land of Zion. All you that have not been commanded to tarry. You stay behind. I've got a special mission just for you. Go ye out from Babylon, be ye clean that bear the vessels of the Lord, for the temple, for the storehouse. Call your solemn assemblies. No king, la 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 la. Fools! There shall be a king, and we shall transfer authority to him. Yeah, just as Nelson's solemn assembly, just as Oakes's solemn assembly. It's the transfer of authority. There will be a gathering to the churches when the call goes out, so that you will be notified. The news of the church quitting will be huge. And everybody will be wondering, what the hell's going on? And then the news will be informed of a meeting on Sundays. And Sarah has the exclusive interview rights if she wants it. I'm still waiting for your call. I'm holding my breath. Otherwise, I'll have to go to Monica. She's not even Mormon. I don't think, anyway. I think she's Catholic or Christian because of when she took off from work during a Catholic holiday. I don't know. It could be just coincidental. She's not calling me either. Let every man call upon the name of the Lord. Speak often one to another. Let everybody know. The bishops are going to find out why you think you want to come to Zion. Now, if the bishop had raped you, you need to notify the stake president. And then the stake president will interview the bishop again. I thought you said there were no problems. We've got a member who claims you raped her. They will deal with that. Don't you dare escalate it to me. Because I'm just going to have you chop the baby in half and you can each have half. There. Both of you stay behind. Dear God. So yes, there are going to be those problems. Mormons leave because of the abuse of Mormons. And so the Mormons are the ones who are still here in the church. And the only problem will be in Utah specifically, not necessarily as bad outside of Utah. Maybe Arizona. But so yes, there will be a massive purge. We're separating the wheat from the tares. I am the true mill keeper. It's just awesome when I heard it. I did it again. So did you catch Babylon? All of these code words, the church claims they got rid of them for the 1981 edition of the Triple Combination. They obviously didn't. So that's what's going on here. And so again in verse 7, verily I say unto you again, the time has come when the voice of the Lord is unto you, go ye out of Babylon. It has physically happened now. But Mormons are not listening to the voice of their leader, the head of the church. You're doing it because you know that Babylon is wicked, of the devil. But you're not following anybody. This is the problem with the Antifa Dems. There's no leadership. And they're not wanting to do anything about it. Even though there's going to be a bunch of candidates for 2028, Trump is going to make sure we don't get there. He's well underway, in case you forgot. Cuba is out of oil from Russia. He's not stopping this. He is destroying America because he failed last year again. And finally, Idaho Chick, it's now. So maybe we'll have the rest of May. I don't know. It's not up to me. If you hadn't caught on, I didn't cause the fall, I just prophesied of it. And it happened. This is my gift and power. You're supposed to run the test on me. Verily I say unto you again, the time has now come when the voice of the Lord is unto you. This is not it. That is not it. The letter to the stake presidents to read at the solemn assembly gatherings will be it. Go ye out of Babylon. Gather ye out from among the nations. Yeah, this is converting to the church and staying where you are. could the Mormons be so stupid to believe that? Why? Why? From the four winds, from the end of heaven to the other. Let the cry go forth among all people. Awake and arise and go forth to meet the bridegroom. 10 virgins. Behold and lo, the bridegroom cometh. Go ye out to meet him. Thus only those who go to Zion get to meet me, because of the stages of interviews to qualify. It's so hard. The test is so hard. Oh, I'm so stressed. Can you love other people? I don't know. That's too hard of a question. Prepare yourselves for the great day of the Lord. Watch therefore, because he hadn't gotten to Revelation chapter 12 yet, Joseph? Come on. Where is that? Is that section 113? That's Isaiah. Question. Revelation. Official declaration. Come on. Section 77. Here we go. That's March 1832. Okay, so yeah, he hadn't gotten to it yet. So yeah, he's now getting to Revelation in March of 1832. And so he's in 4th chapter, 6th verse in March of 1832. So he hadn't gotten there yet. Not there at 12 yet. So that's what. All right, so that's the plan, if it's perfect like I want it. And he keeps on going. Let them who are among the Christians flee unto Zion. Let them who be of Utah flee unto Jerusalem, to the New Jerusalem, unto the mountains of the Lord's house. Mountains. The mountain cities of Zion and New Jerusalem. 19 July 1840. Where he talks about what will be contained in Zion. And I already knew, because that was what came to me after the Hinckley dream. Go ye out from among the nations, even from Babylon, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. So this even suggests to me something else for a transfer. That the church still is clinging on life support to insist that they're true, but yet transfer to allow those who want to come with me to Zion. And those who want to stay with the church can stay with the church. But again, let me remind you, Strengthening Church Members Committee, to notify the head of the church immediately. Let the apostle know now. You've got a way out by granting me this option for you. Now, if you want to stay and keep the church going to be sued and massive collapse, fine. But allow Mormons to go to Zion. Let them go. Don't leave them stranded without a leader. Let me help them. I know you're evil. I know you worship Lucifer, who's a human in oaks, with a little voice in his head. his multi-personality disorder from the drugs he's been given, causing tardive dyskinesia. Though Idaho chick insists that it's because he's old. You can settle it, Oaks. Just come out and confess. Like that's ever gonna happen. So here's a concern I have. Let not your flight be in haste, but let all things be prepared before you. It takes time to interview all of the few people that are left at church. Takes time. But yeah, everybody, even those who aren't members, by choosing to come to Zion, that is your conversion. You will be granted by being put in the book of the law. If you choose to obey the one law of love, to give and receive agency, life, liberty, and property. No monetary system of economy. That is the one requirement to come in. And no, you can't sneak in thinking you're going to do lip service, because I will know by your words you're not sincere. You may fool the bishop, but yeah, you have to still get through me. So you think you're going to get through me, are you? Good luck. Everybody else has failed. Oh yeah, I'll show you, Travis. Bring it. Just remember that when you fail in Zion, you sure you want to do that, huh? Because you give up the world to come to Zion. And if you fail in Zion in the final test, you're out. And now you got nothing. You tried to deceive your way into Zion, and you're out. So go ahead, bring it. Exactly, the wicked are not going to want to come. This is too hard. Can't I just steal a little stuff? There's nothing to steal. There's no monetary system of economy. What? How are you going to pay for it? So, yeah, this is going to take time. That's why it needs to be now. You tell them, Clark. It's you, isn't it? There was a concern as to whether it was Stevenson, was it? From his conference talk? Whichever one of you it is, tell Oaks today. You who's on the computer, downloading this video and listening to it, tell the apostle today. Before you rush out to your weekend vacation. You're not going to do it, are you? Not going to do it. It's a 2-hour video, and this is 2 hours in. And so when I get it up at 8 or 9 o'clock, it'll be by noon. Still plenty of time before you leave early for the day, assuming you work 5 days a week again rather than the 4 days a week that you went to for a period of time at least. How do you know my schedule? So the thing about not in haste, let your flight be not in haste, but let all things be prepared before you. And he that goeth, let him not look back, lest sudden destruction shall come upon him. Yeah. Sudden destruction, people. We must get to Zion to preserve the human race. This is where you become kings and queens, high priests and high priestesses unto the Most High God hereafter to rule and reign in the house of Israel forever. Zion. The families who get to carry on the human race. And we will be expanding out throughout the world from there. You, your families, are your own rulers. And you must abide by the one law. Don't think that you can do your own thing with your family because you will ruin Zion. The system is perfect. And so with him 144,000? I don't know, is that all that's coming? With Emmanuel on your forehead. Yeah, get prepared for tattoos. How did it work for the beast? MAGA, the baseball cap. So yeah, we'll give you baseball caps. And we'll put the sun god at noonday eclipse. That was what it was supposed to be. They extended it. And so wherefore prepare ye for the coming of the bridegroom. All of this is about that. This is Matthew 25 for section 133. He still hadn't gotten to Revelation yet. So thus he puts, no man knows the day or the hour. We do know. Everybody knows. It's even in the Book of Mormon, Joseph. Your dad knew. Why didn't you consult with him? That's why Daddy had to be involved for Revelation 12. Joseph, what are you writing? Junior! Fine, let me go over it with Revelation 12 for you. This is spirit for seer, prophet, revelator, and translator. Let's make this correction for you. Oh. I took you off of timeout, and this is what you do? Alright, so yeah, the other reason why it can't be in haste. Haste, pestilence. Section 63, verse 24. Now this is the will of the Lord your God concerning his saints, that they should assemble themselves together unto the land of Zion, not in haste, lest there should be confusion, which bringeth pestilence. If it's rushed, yeah, it will not be in order. It will not be the way I want it. I will be frustrated. I will not be happy. You will be forced into tents rather than cabins. And thus pestilence, because there's no garbage disposal system. No sanitation of plumbing. Do you want cabins or not? My way is perfect. Don't mess with my way. You always do. God. Always do. So, this is my hope. Seeing that the church is falling is what I've been waiting for. In the journal vlogs, even. We're waiting for the fall, and it's now. And there is a rush emergency, but it still takes time. The church has to call it quits, or at least allow me to contact Mormons for them to choose. Are you going to stay with the church, or do you want to come with me? The church is going to have to give up their money. There's precedence for them handing it over to me. They themselves have said so numerous times. This is the first presidency statement regarding the parable of the talents. This is also with Joseph Fielding Smith and his encoded, because he didn't know, he's the son of Hiram, so they aren't going to tell him. They told Thomas B. Marsh, and see what he did. The way to perfection. This is their plan, and Trump is failing. And so as a result, God, Microsoft, you suck. This is what they're planning if things went their way. And with the church collapsing, it's not going their way. Surprise, what a shocker. Wicked are just the stupidest people in the world. Their whole intention for what Trump is doing is to hand over transfer of authority to the church. Thus, Trump is Jesus. I mean, Lucifer. Exactly. That's the code. This is why they got pissed with me and threatened to murder me. They even premeditatively plotted to murder me, preparing the way to murder me. And I saw it the whole time. I knew what they were up to. And it still happened. But they didn't murder me. People lost their jobs for failure. Right, Todd? Dumbass brother. So the Valley of Adam-on-Diamond is the code from 1838 that they told Thomas B. Marsh. We are the Danites. We are the destruction company. We are destroying Missouri. And in the future, we're going to do the same pattern that we're doing here in Missouri, phase 2 of our operation, to the United States and ultimately the entire world. This is the transfer of authority from the President of the United States of America to Oaks. I tried to warn him. He didn't listen. Bill Barr didn't listen in 2020. I called it. I warned. It happened. They ignored me. Because the church are their puppet masters. The church betrayed America to get their kingdom back. Right here. This is the Danite plot to coup America. And it got encoded with Jesus and religion. That's why you need to pay attention to what they say, because it's not in harmony with the scriptures. They're putting out coded communication. When Nelson says, keep the temple covenant path, he means get married to 11-year-old girls. Multiple 11-year-old girls. Breed them. And you left. The church is planning on reigning supreme here in Utah. Now, there is precedent that they might actually get away with it until 2045, and then they'll fall permanently. But that's a long time away. I would hope Zion is built by then. China can build a skyscraper in a few weeks. With the technology that's available, we should be able to build the whole city of Zion and New Jerusalem in a few weeks, assuming the church transfers authority, and thus the money, not just all of the documentation. And so that's the concern. I don't know how this is going to happen. The church doesn't want to hand over the money. They don't want to give it up. They don't want to quit. They're going down in flames. And despite trying to get the world angry with Mormons, of Mormons getting framed and blamed for things, Mormons getting assassinated, Mormons getting attacked. You notice that? You haven't noticed that? Mormons were even on the cruise ship. You hadn't noticed, huh? Mormons are involved with everything that's going on, with the fall of the world. There's a Mormon. In 2024, Netflix and Hulu were doing a whole bunch of stuff on Mormons. And they still are, for some extent. The Salt Lake City housewives and their scandals that have been taken home from work. And so, yeah, it's unclear. Oaks clearly has exposed himself as Lucifer, the Babylonian king. He can't outsmart me because I called it in advance. And he knows it. That's why he waited 4 weeks, a whole month, to confess he fell. And he wouldn't even tell us. Wouldn't tell us the date. You notice that one? And when they don't tell, that suggests that I was right on the day. And the minute. Because they're that humiliated by me. God. Tell Oaks now. Rush to notify the apostle to notify Oaks in his bionic wheelchair for his bionic hip. And if he has to call him at his home, do it. You need to have a whole corporate board meeting to discuss the transfer. Do not delay. Mormons are dying. Mormons are getting set up to die, you bastards. God, and to fool Mormons on this. You guys are pure evil. And you go around telling everybody you're righteous. You bastards. Murderers to get gain, and you're fooling Mormons? I can't understand that kind of level of stupidity of Mormons. So, that's what we're looking at, though, guys. So yeah, the two options. This is the no winding down and dissolution version. Harold B. Lee said it might wind down and dissolve. They've got their options. Okay, from on that one, KK's priest. 2000, section 385, 133. Oh, yeah, I did that video of Chi. And if you don't know about the abomination of desolation, that's what I'm referring to in there. The particular restaurant on the new altar, that's pork. And yeah, I'm sure you got the happy ending massages of the Chinese girls. Yeah, prostitution. The abomination of desolation. I had to do it. It was begging me to do it. Cuba is out. Instagram. Yeah, they just got sued and lost. And Zuckerberg decides in retaliation to cancel 37,000 customers. Bastard. And that's the crisis. Okay, we're done. So that's what we're waiting for. The transfer of authority is next. How will it be done? Or will the church go down in flames, refusing to hand it over? And you've read your Book of Mormon, right? You do know of that scenario that is warned about. Utter destruction. No Zion. So yeah, the Nephi version is the ideal one, because Nephi gets the records, he gets the transfer of authority. The Mormons who are bad and don't want to believe stay behind. Nephi is intelligent and they have a high civilization. The Mormons who stay behind are stupid, become primitive. Take your pick. Choose ye this day. Mormons will choose to die.